Hi, good morning, ma'am. Thank you so much for gracing the occasion. So, maybe please know a little about your profile and how you are empowering women because you are an icon for women, I would say.
Good morning. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. I'm Mrs. Shabeena Sultana, and I'm the Honorary Consul for Republic of Tunisia. Besides that, I have this organization called CRETO, which is the Knowledge Resource Enabled Trade Organization, which works mostly for women empowerment and underprivileged. Besides that, we're also working with the diplomatic missions closely related to women empowerment again. And in terms of in terms of being available to their needs, requirements, in terms of taking their entrepreneur skills outside internationally. So these are the little things which I would be doing. And of course, it is all imbibed within each of one of us. So each one of the women present here and outside this conference hall have unique capabilities. It's just that they need some nurturing, yes, nurturing capabilities and motivation, of course. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Please make yourself
Thank
comfortable.
you.
We're very happy to have you here. Thank you so much for gracing the occasion.
Ms. Shabeena Sultana ji to kindly start this occasion with her speech. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Honorary Consul of Republic of Tunisia. A huge round of applause for Ms. Shabeena Sultana.
Good morning. A very vibrant audience here, and I couldn't miss Rani dancing and creating a positive vibe, and what a day to start. Once again, I want to welcome all the beautiful ladies here, the women achievers, and of course the brilliant men out there. I've been coming here since 3 years now, and always a pleasure to be amongst the young entrepreneur and advocate Udaivir. It's very nice to see him growing, and as I see him year on year, I think the crowd is becoming more and more, special in terms of their achievements, in terms of what they can innovate or the entrepreneurial skills which they display, and of course the achievers have been with special talent. They only need a little bit of motivation and a little bit of support from all the stakeholders they depend on. I'm Mrs. Shabeena Sultana, Honorary Consul of Republic of Tunisia. Tunisia is a North African country. I don't know how many of y'all are aware of it. It is very strategically located in terms of facing the Mediterranean on the north, and south is of course the desert, and it belongs to the Arab culture league. Apart from that, you can see a lot of confluence of European culture as well. I would want everybody to consider Tunisia as your next destination, if at all, because it's really cheap and economical, and for Indians, you can club it with another destination too. Besides that, I'm a practicing company secretary. Not that I'm doing anything in that, but yes, I keep myself occupied in revisiting many of the policies and laws and norms because that really interests me. Apart from that, I also have this organization called CRETO, popularly called as Knowledge Resource Enabled Trade Organization. And I miss my partner and my colleague today, Dr. Neeraj A. Sharma, because every time we are together, and as we know that he is really held up with his busy schedule, he couldn't make it today. Nevertheless, I represent him and also CRETO here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I stand here today celebrating the womanhood and representing the women of the society, all the women achievers in terms of either them being the household, doing their household chores, or being the professionals, or being politicians, or doing any kind of a thing. But of course, we're all achievers at the end of the day with whatever little bit we do, and we give back to the society and to the families we belong to. When we talk about achievement and we talk about what we have, what all we have come across, where we have reached, there is one important aspect of life, one very, it's called a very sensitive issue which nobody is paying much attention to, or maybe they are ignorant, or maybe they are naive about it, and that is the mental health issues of women. We are achievers, but what is the cost? At what cost do we reach here? When you talk about mental health issues, what are the few of the challenges we face? To name a few of them, we start with depression. And to tell you all, ladies and gentlemen, women are twice much more facing depression than the men today. And similarly, from depression we come to anxiety. Anxiety is also something which women face in comparison to the men, and every day there is a spike and hike in the anxiety issues. There are panic attacks women face. Besides that, we all see that women have these eating disorders. Eating disorders, I think even I am a classic example of eating disorder. When I feel really stressed about something, I binge eat, I tend to eat in the odd hours of the night, anything and everything, and that's something which we need to correlate with that mental health issue again. This is something which we are not paying much attention or heed to. Maybe in India, the culture we belong to, or the society we belong to, mental health isn't discussed to a large extent, or maybe they seem that this is not very important, or otherwise they think that okay, if it's a mental health issue, it's a taboo to be even discussed amongst many of us. As I said, we have depression, anxiety, eating disorder, trauma. What is trauma? Trauma is the women facing violence, the women facing displacement of homes, the women facing civil wars. In all of this, it is the women who is undergoing a lot of emotional and victimized to many more things. And 20% of the global population here are either victims of molestations or rape victims. That's a really sad number to even talk about, but this is something which we all, don't even pay heed or attention to. Apart from that, we also have something called as the substance abuse. That is a major mental health issue right now we are all facing, because it could be spurring from various factors. It could be from a personal issue, it could be a peer pressure, it could be like, okay, in the social gathering we start with that and we continue with that because of the small pleasures obtained from that. Are we even discussing why we are indulging? And the study shows that women are they start with smaller frequencies of consumption, but as the day goes, they consume more than the men. It's not me, but the studies like the WHO and many other organizations talk about it, which we are not even aware of. And it's the substance abuse is basically, substance abuse includes alcohol consumption also. And here it is, it spurs, or it comes from the domestic violence the woman faces every day. So we present ourselves here as, okay, we are all fine. We are totally agreeing with the societal norms, what our community says, what our cultural do's and don'ts are. But are we looking into ourselves? Are we even considering what is the most important element of our well-being, which is mental health? And the last but not the least, which culminates to all of this, at the end of it, the most sensitive action we tend to get into or imbibe is suicidal attempts or suicides. And what is suicide? When you want to give up on your life, I mean, this is something which we really need to press upon, and we need to pay some attention. And where does all of this come from? As women today, we face a lot of discrimination. Discrimination emerging from the socio-cultural factors, like when you say societal factors which imbibe in us, it's like, okay, she belongs to this family, she comes from that family, what is her status, what's her financial position, etc., etc. And again, it's not only as an individual, but it's the family, to community, to society at large, which is responsible to such an behavior or an issue. It could also come from economical factors. Economical factors, how well you are. I mean, how well off you are. Are you a household chore doing your domestic chores or domestic work? Or are you a professional? Or are you an entrepreneur? Everything culminates to this. And I think for every woman, there are various roles we indulge in. Being a wife, being a mother, being a sister, name it, so many roles we fit into, and every role we want to perform it to the best. Why? Because we are under pressure. We think we are answerable to everybody, and we think that this is the standard set for us. It's nothing like that. If you are happy with what you're doing, and you're rightfully doing with the right intent, you are an achiever. You do not have to be judged, and you cannot be judged by anybody. At the end of it, it's you who has to stand up, it's you who has to take care of yourselves. They come across things like, you know, they don't even have the health obligations of a woman. They do not have time to even take care of themselves. And for them, it's a matter of pride. Okay, घर पे सारे ठीक है, बच्चे ठीक है, सारे अच्छा हो रहा है, तो मैं भी खुश हूँ. Actually, this kind of an attitude has to be changed. I think we need to be a little selfish here, self-centered. That would not be the right word, but for me, if I have to stand here and talk, even I'm a woman coming from a very conservative family, I did face all of these challenges and occupying many roles, as I was just talking. But the end of it, it is you. How many ever times you fall, it is up to you how you stand, how you face the society, and how you get going. It's within you, and I'm sure the first seed to correct comes from within you. Then it's up to the family members. We can't force them because they have their own ideologies, they have their own set of thoughts, and they have been following this from generations. I think there has to be a lot of awareness. There has to be, policies which is supported by the government, policies supported by the administration, policies which will guide everybody. There has to be inclusiveness. There has to be these kind of programs which first makes us realize that there is an issue. There is a problem as such. Only if you see there is a problem will you find a solution. And in the process of finding a solution, you create awareness, you educate the women and also the men, you educate the children and how they should cater to the needs of their mother, the wife, the sister, etc., whoever is in the family, and society at large. So these are the few things which I think is very important and a very, very sensitive topic that we need to pay a little more attention to, even in the workplace where we work. I think there has to be a culture where women's health, women's safety has to be spoken at large. How they are safeguarded. I think I was just talking to the company secretary and she was talking about the POSCO, where women's safety and discrimination and things like that. We have courses being introduced in company secretary. Likewise, as I think it is, I see a lot of educators here, a lot of entrepreneurs here. It is our duty, our responsibility to begin somewhere, and United Nations organizations, SDG, I think number 5 is what which talks about gender equality and women's safety. I think I've spoken a lot about this, and I would like to end this speech of mine by congratulating all the women achievers, all the winners for the Icons of Asia, congratulating Uday again for a wonderful, wonderful event. You year on year conceptualize and make it a successful one. I would want to thank all the other guests present here, my lovely ladies present here, and Uday's family. I cannot, even if I thank you, it would be very less. They've always been like a family and motivating Uday, and I think parents like you will only encourage and motivate the kids to nurture and grow. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best and see many more of these events. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shabeena, and she has really touched on some very important topics which absolutely are a taboo in our society. Can I have a huge round of applause for this lady? Thank you so very much, ma'am, for having the courage, and such an honor to have her amongst us at the Women Leaders Forum. Miss Shabeena Sultana, ladies and gentlemen.